Hey guys, I got an interesting topic I want to talk to you about today. Who is more likely to be successful in the hotshot business? Stay tuned, we'll talk about it. I just realized I forgot my cap. You'll hardly ever see this guy without a cap on. When I go to church, when I go to the funeral home, and that's it. I think that's the only time I don't wear a cap. Occasionally, me and Tammy go out to eat, I won't wear a cap, but generally somebody has to give me a cap. And if you got a cool cap, if you got a company that's, kid friendly, or not bad, I don't drink, so I don't wear anything got drinking on it. But if it's trucking friendly, pretty much, something that a Christian guy could wear, and send it to me. But I don't drink, so I know some Christian guys drink, so I don't wear anything with drinking or smoking or anything like that. But if you got a cool cap you want me to wear on a video, if it's something I can, I'll be glad to wear it. I like caps. I like comfortable caps. I don't wear cheap caps. I will say that. Cheap caps give me a headache. So, but other than that, if you want to know more about that, email me, and I'll get you an address you can send it to. So, but anyway, don't forget the links below, beefjerky.com and Mytee Products. If you're just starting in the trucking business, flatbedding, you're going to need something from Mytee Products, and they're the best I know of. Even before we were teamed up together, I bought all my stuff at Mytee Products. So, if you're running flatbeds, I think everything on my trailer come from Mytee Products. Maybe one thing, and I can't think of anything that didn't come from them. So, who's going to be successful in the hotshot trucking business, especially right now? So all we hear on social media is about how the rates is horrible. And then all we hear is rookies are going to be out of business, in 2 months, 3 months. First breakdown. I want to tell you, me and my wife started a business about 20 years ago that we knew nothing about. But we seen a way of doing it better because we knew people that used a business similar to that. And we could see how if we used it, we would want it to be run different. And so we were at the time in a business that was being shipped overseas. A lot of the making, we used to make socks. And that business was being shipped overseas thanks to NAFTA. And so we was in the process of selling our company and actually done really well on it. And we sold it to a company that was exporting all the equipment, and you couldn't get equipment at the time. So we made a good profit to sell the business to them and didn't have to do anything. We kept all the land and the property and all that. But anyway, we was getting into another business and didn't know nothing about it. And we went from 0 to number 1 in about 3 years, 2 years. And at one time, well, I'd say on average of the 20 years, we averaged 400 events a year. We done inflatables. So I'm getting to something. Just hang with me. But we done inflatables, like the jump houses and the water slides and stuff like that. And we were doing about, on average for the whole 20 years, we probably averaged 400 events a year. Now, we didn't do that many the first few years, but there were some years we probably done 6, 7, maybe even 800 events. My wife can tell you every event we ever done. She tracked everything. Maybe not the person's name, but how many events we done and everything. How much money we made and everything. So, we took that business, didn't know anything about it.
Try that again in English.
That's bad when Siri can't understand what I'm saying. They knew I was talking, but told me to repeat it in English. My southern slang is not English. But anyway, we researched the business. We even went to some trade shows and researched it before we made a purchase. We talked to people that had done the business. I mean, that had used that type of business, inflatables. We talked to a bunch of church leaders that rented that kind of stuff. And we asked them, what kind of rates are y'all paying? And how does this work? And all that. We knew all about it. Trucking works the same way. You can go from a nobody to a big trucking company really quick if you play your cards right. Now, I'm not interested in growing to more drivers. I'm just not. That's not my cup of tea. I've had businesses. Like I said, I'm 53-year-old. I'm tired of keeping up with workers, and I'm gonna set the cruise on and cruise through for a while. Now I've got other things going on, so this is not my only income, but I want to cruise a little bit on what I'm doing. So, who can make it in this business and who can make it successful? Well, if you really want to have a real good shot, you're going to have money in the bank. You will have some kind of nest egg that will ride you through the highs and lows. You'll know how to do numbers. If you don't know math enough to run numbers of a business, you need somebody that can do it for you. I'm not saying you can't do it. I know a guy that's wealthy, millionaire probably, really wealthy, and he never finished school. So you ain't got to have a college education. You just got to be smart enough or have somebody with you that's smart enough to handle all the numbers, because numbers is going to make you or break you. Another thing is hard work. You got to be a hard-working individual. If you're not willing to get out and go after it, I got out and went after it in places I didn't want to go. I didn't want to be over the road. My ultimate goal was to be a local run hauler, or regional at most. I wanted to be regional or local. And so, but to do that, I had to go and run over the road for a while. But I put my time in. I was hard working. I knew my numbers. And then I researched the flatbed part. And the flatbed, when I started buying my trailer and moving into that moved me into other things. Because of where I was at the time, and things started falling into place. I'll tell you right up front how I feel about it. The Lord just sort of opened doors. My wife got a job. That person was over logistics. But I will say this. Had I not made the move, in other words, me being a Christian, we still have to do things. We have to go. We have to, we got to be willing, I guess is the word. A lot of famous people in the Bible had to do something first, and then the Lord blessed it and made it into something bigger than they could imagine. And that happened to a lot of people. I'm not going to get into teaching or preaching. I'm just saying, I'm just using that from a Christian standpoint. But, so had I not made the move I felt led to do and buy the trailer and start into flatbed hauling, and was willing to do what my plan was, the plan that I felt like all along the Lord had for me, being local. Part of that plan was being regional and then going local, working my way back home, because I was getting my experience, I was making connections, I was learning the ropes, I was learning how to do things, and the more I learned, the closer I got to home, and the closer I got to home, the more successful I was and the more profit per load I made. So, how do I know that? I knew my numbers. I knew what I could haul for. In the sock business, I got a lot of contracts because I beat another person's bid by 1 penny. We done socks. We put the toes in the socks. So we had machines. We slide up into these computer-operated machines, and our operators would turn the socks inside out, slide them up in the track, and the machine would sew them twice, then turn them right side out, spit them in the box, and count them. And we done that by the dozen. So you done it for, say, 50 cents a dozen. And a lot of companies would bid 52, 51, whatever. Well, I had a rate I knew I could run for and make a good living. And so a lot of times I'd get jobs over 1 penny. Just a penny different. That's the way trucking is. Sometimes you're going to get jobs, especially with stingy brokers. A penny a mile is a lot of money over a year. And so if you know what you can run for and you know what the profit margin is, and you might be willing to go out there for the first 6 months and not, remember what I talk about, your check. If you're willing to cut your check just a little bit the first few months, it'll come back to you and then your check will do this. I worked 6 or 8 months leased on to a company. They were really good to me and I learned a whole lot. But my check was down here as far as weekly what I pay myself versus where it is now. It's a lot bigger as far as what I pay myself for the work I do. I'm not saying I make more money. I probably make more money than I did leased on. But you over the road guys are going to have a bigger check because you're going to put more miles on, and you're going to your rate per mile versus 1,000,000 miles is going to be a lot different than my whatever 30,000 miles or 40,000 miles, whatever I do in a year, 50,000, whatever. But you see what I'm saying? So know your numbers, be a hard worker, and research the business. Also, when you invest in a business, any kind of business that you're going to start, I'm going to have to crank the truck up, it's getting hot in here. But any kind of business, you got to be thick-skinned. What I mean by that, if you invest in the stock market, you can't be selling every time it goes down or every time it goes up just a little bit and cash in on profit. You got to, when you invest in a business, it's got to be long term, or at least you got to have your plan set out. All right, 10 years I want to be out of this, or 5 years I'm going to sell the company. You know what I'm saying? You've got to be able to ride the storm. And if this is going to be your business for life, you got to be able to hang on. Because in every business, and I've owned several different kind of businesses, it's always been this. Always been this. And usually, like I said the other day, usually it'll do this, and then it's slow climbing back out of the hole. Remember, it's always easier to drop than it is to climb. That goes in trucking. It's easier to go off the hill than it is to pull that load back up the hill. That's the way it is in business. So, I have to keep all that in mind. So, who's going to make it in the trucking business? Thick-skinned, knowledgeable, know your business, know what you're getting into. Somebody with a little money in the bank account to withstand the storms, and somebody willing to withstand the storms. And willing to cut their pay just a little bit to get started to learn the ropes. That's who I think will make it in the business. So, I hope this helps you guys, and I hope you guys get out there. Hey, I invite everybody to get in the business. There's a lot of work out there. I watched some numbers today that we may be slipping into a little bit of a recession, but you know what? People still spend money in a recession. And when you're hooking up with companies, try to hook up with companies that are more recession. I'm not going to say all companies. I mean, there's some companies that are recession proof, because there's about every company has some kind of recession negative. So, I haul a lot for a garbage truck manufacturer. Garbage goes on. There might not be as much garbage, but big cities and companies, they have to have garbage trucks, whether we're buying new cars or new homes. People still eat and throw away about the same amount of junk. They might not be buying new TVs and throwing away cardboard boxes, so there may be some dip in it. But still, the service that the companies provide is usually a monthly subscription service the companies and cities provide. So their income goes on, and your taxes goes on, and most cities provide garbage pickup, or at least in our area. So that goes on. So try to find you a company that may be recession proof. For instance, do you want to haul for a yacht company? Yeah, that's going to be great, but if you can find a company that's, say, a garbage truck company, that might be better if you have a choice between the garbage truck company and the yacht company. Does that make sense? So, because the yachts, when the recession hits, stock markets go down. And most yacht owners, big yacht owners, their wealth is attributed to what their stock is worth. So then they may say, we may cut back, not buy a yacht this year. Well, I wouldn't imagine they put out too many yachts in a year. So even with all the companies in the world, they may be a bunch, but so if you just cut 10% of that, that could be your job. So that's another thing to think about. Try to hook up with a more recession-proof company. So, but that's another thing to add to who's going to make it. Knock on doors while you're working for less money. Knock on doors. Tell people, say, hey, I run Hotshot. So if you ever need a load, I bought 1,000 business cards when I started. And everybody I seen, I kept them in my pocket. Even my friend, I said, hey, I'm running Hotshot now. I got my own setup. I'm, owner-operator. If you know somebody, and I mean, I was handing out cards left and right, and that's how you do it. That's exactly how you do it. So, all right, guys, hope you have a great day. Remember what I always say. If you want to have a safe trip, you got to start out doing safe things. Inspect your truck, inspect your trailer, and inspect your equipment. If you need any equipment, click the Mytee link below. The Mytee link below. Mytee, got it? And they'll hook you up. And I think it's still $10 off $250 order, so that'd be great. Oh, if you need some awesome beef jerky, I ain't even got any of them out. Go check out beefjerky.com. And I've been talking to beefjerky.com, so maybe have something cool here before too long. So, all right, guys, go out and make some jack, because there's jack to be made. Love you guys.